Hey guys, welcome to day 3 Understanding Data Types in SQL. While learning SQL, data types are very critical. Sometimes we just take it casually and we end up in a mess. So, learning data types is very important for learning SQL. Let's take an example of the employees table that we'll see throughout these videos. We have given a right data type to all the right columns. For example, employee ID is a numeric column, so I have given it as big N. The first name, last name has been given as string, and age is a number, so therefore it's again given a big N. Gender is M or F is a character, therefore it is again a string. Salary and department ID both are number, therefore they have been given big int. Hiring date is a date column, therefore the data type is date. So you don't need to go in depth of a lot of data types learning, but all the basic data types you must know, and I'll cover them in this current video. You can also see the data of this data set. This is an employees table, and these are the data set that are present. I'm running all these things on Databricks free edition notebook. I'll pass on the CSVs I used for creating these tables so that you can also take an experience of this. You can see that it's a right data type present. This 1 2 3 symbol represent number, whereas ABC represent a string. So like that. Okay, moving to why data type is important. So when you start storing information in database, it's not enough just to create a table, but having right data type is important. Think of data type as a rule that helps database understand how to treat each piece of information. Just like a real life, you wouldn't add an employee salary and their joining date together. They are different things, right? So by character also they are different. By choosing the right data type, you tell the database that this type of column will always contain number, as we said, right? Like SQL is used to give the instructions for structuring or placing the data. So this is one, that this column is going to contain number, this column will hold the text. So for example, string column will always hold the text. So if you try to insert something else, it will fail, and date one will always contain it. So that's a kind of restrictive feature that we have put in. Okay, I have already shown you the screenshot. We'll just run it, but we won't wait for it. Let's see. So this is a command where you can get the definition. So there is a need on Databricks many times that you need to see the definition of a table. What is a data type given to a particular column? Then in that case, you must run this command, which is show create table, the table name. And if you expand, you'll be able to see the complete definition of a table with the data type. Okay. Some of the basic data types that every data engineer must learn as a part of SQL learning is first is numbers. Okay, so the columns, like as I already mentioned, salaries and IDs can be number, and they can be better stored as such because their values are like that. Similarly, names, departments are text. So number is one type, text is another type, dates is the third type. Okay, there are certain complex data type as well, like for example, arrays, JSON, and all those, right? We'll learn them as we move forward, but for now, we'll keep them as simple. Only these three types. Why choosing right data type matter is if you mistakenly store salaries as text, the database, when you try to run the query, let's say you run a query, right? Like in the previous video, we ran a query where we asked for the salaries greater than 70,000, I guess, right? So that time we realized that if the if the column data type would have been string, then this comparison operator would not have worked. So this comparison operator only works on right data type, correct? So similarly, all the queries, like even date queries, you need to have a right date type present, correct? So good data types is equal to clean logic and efficient queries, otherwise queries won't work. The bigger picture for data engineer is, for data engineer, choosing right data type is very important. Let me give you some of the practical challenges that we have faced when we gave a wrong data type. Okay, so the first one is, let me just quickly correct this. So the first one is joining of columns, right? So we designed a complex system once, and uh, by mistake, we what we did is, in some there was a common column called ID uh, column, right? And that column was being used to join multiple tables. That relation exists for table. So we build that entire system, and at some places we gave the data type as int, but at some other places we give the data type as string. And this caused the entire system to either slow down or the queries were going in hanging state. We didn't realize what was the problem. And then later, after investigation, we found out that in some places the data type is not correctly defined, and that's why the SQL engine is not able to rightly configure it to a right path or right plan, and therefore it was not working. So it is essential that you give a right data type to all the joining columns. This is one of the key interview question I ask. Second is size of the column optimization, correct? So when we give size to a data type, it is again another important thing. It is expected that you might always get a 20, less than 20 character, but still you give like varchar max or something. That result into the fact that you might end up blocking the space even if it is not needed. And nowadays space crunch is very critical, even in joins and at every places. Then this type of space creates slow queries. Another important is slow queries. So if you don't give right data type, the joining will not happen with the right approach, and eventually so some of the joins might even fail. So as I mentioned, joining is a problem. Size of column and slow queries is a challenge when you don't choose a right data type. SQL data types may seem basic, but they are the guardrails that keep the data trustworthy. Whether it's an employee's salary, their name, or the hiring date, storing in the right format ensures that tomorrow's queries won't break and tomorrow's insights won't be mislead. Thank you for joining, guys. Please do subscribe. We'll meet again in the next video. Thank you.